Welcome back to the final episode of Kind of Funny's The Mandalorian in Review. I'm Tim Gettys. That's Kevin Coelho. That's Greg Miller. That's Nick Scarpino.
Hello.
It's our first time at this table in a while.
Such is the way.
Such is the code.
It's what we do.
It is what we do. Do the do.
Do the do, everybody.
We do the show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, or you can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunny, roosterteeth.com, podcast services around the globe. Just search for Kinda Funny Reviews. We did all of the Star Wars movies in review, including Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9. That video is live on youtube.com/kindoffunny. You can go check that out now. You can get this show ad-free by going to patreon.com/kindoffunny. You can also get extremely excited to join us January 3rd for what, Greg?
Kind of Funny Games 4.0.
Oh, yeah.
You threw me off because I put up the 3 for third. You know what I mean?
Pop the other one.
But you did it like, if he'd have done it like this, he would have got, he wouldn't have gotten killed in Inglourious Bastards. He went like this. That's the American way. You did the Nazi way.
Is that a 12-hour live stream?
That, by the way, too. I've seen this over and over again. That like when restaurants come by and you're eating, and I'll be like, "It's okay," and Jen's like, "You can't do that anymore. It's a white power thing."
No,
and I'm like, "No,
totally
that's not real, right?
We're not letting them have that.
Thank you. That's
We're
what I
fighting
said.
back.
Fuck
you
that.
white guys got to get it together and take it back.
Well, that sounds bad.
No,
You say it
no,
like that. That's
Jesus.
We have the power. No.
What kind of power?
Why did we do this?
The power of the Force, ladies and gentlemen. It's with us all. Let's just get right into it, I
Happy
guess.
holidays.
Today we're talking about Chapter 8, Redemption. Not the Redemption. Every episode's been the this or the that, except episode 1 that straight up just didn't have a title. They still never retroactively added one.
I think they did.
What is it? Yeah, as far as I know, they didn't.
I thought when we went to see in the screener, it had a title.
It did not. It did not.
Because
Because episode 2 was The Child.
I remember that.
Yeah.
The Mando.
This is Redemption, Kevin. Redemption. Directed by Taika Waititi himself. His directorial debut on this show, which is exciting stuff. Written by Jon Favreau to kind of wrap out the main storyline of this episode. Some people would call this episode 8 of the season. Others would call it episode 4 of the season. But however you want to do it, you know what I mean?
Why do they call it that?
It's,
Just because 4 episodes were completely useless in the
The
season?
Mandalorian.
Okay.
Exactly. Oh, interesting. There you go.
Fake
The
fan.
Mandalorian.
Fake fan.
God, man.
You know what I mean?
I
Did
don't know.
you even see The Rise of Skywalker?
I don't know. Man. I don't even fucking
Tim,
know.
you need those.
Yeah, I think he needs that.
Tim, it's
Nick, go get
I
this.
do
dude.
need it.
I'll get him.
No, Nick. Okay, we're in control, Kev. They're both gone. Don't cry,
I had a
Kevin.
great time with this episode.
Me too.
Super fun. I wish
I
the
had a
whole
great time with this series, and I won't hear bullshit
I
about
wish the
this.
whole show was directed by Taika and written
good
by
stuff,
John.
good
I feel
directing.
like that would have obviously gave a little bit more cohesion. It's hard to do that with shows like this, especially of this scale. You need more directors to kind of like be able to keep it on pace and going, especially when we know season 2 is coming as soon as it is.
When is it?
You expect next year.
Okay.
I think it's already entirely shot. at this
2021?
point.
No, it's your telling me
2020.
2020. I'm sorry. I'm already in the future, guys.
Yeah.
We have cool pizzas that self-hydrate.
Holy shit, dude.
Self-hydrate.
You should have buttoned in your jacket fits all of a sudden.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
cool.
Gia had missed the last about 4 episodes of the show
Sure.
just because she kept falling asleep because midnight. It's a
Yeah.
late time for her. She's just
Watch
a
it in
little
the
girl.
morning.
I have Jen and I watch it over breakfast usually.
Yeah, and so she caught up last night. Fell asleep before the final one, but she caught up on the rest of them. So I got to rewatch them all, and I had a great time rewatching
yeah,
them
you did.
all. When
Told
it
you.
was kind of like just I already knew what was all happening.
Yeah.
And yeah. So like, I had a great time with the whole series. I wish that it was
Glad you
better
came back
overall
around.
because
No,
it's
no.
definitely very problematic. But this episode gave me a lot of what I wanted. It had the Taika weirdness throughout.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh my
So
God.
I feel like this episode suffered the most from budget issues of. There was a lot of times where I'm like, man, like this isn't living up to the potential of what I want it to be. Whereas like I feel like some of the other episodes that had those issues, I was like, it doesn't matter to me because they're so small scale. This one felt like it was supposed to be more movie-like. And
Since episode 1, I was like, oh, this is the bar we're working with, and I've been fine with all of it. And so I thought that I didn't even have any of those complaints here. What I thought was cool was like just shout out to Jon Favreau for finally playing a video game and then being like, I should translate this into a 8-chapter thing. Because when he meets up with the armorer again and she's like, all right, cool, you also get this jetpack and I'm gonna give you this, and I'm like, fuck, this is a game right now.
And then
Quest
what
completed.
does he
Here's
do
the
with the
reward, go next thing.
jetpack? What does he do with the
What
jetpack?
does he do with the jetpack?
He
gives-
fights a TIE fighter.
Yeah. Well, eventually. No, at first he gives it to IG-11 to hold for
Well, he's like
20
dying.
minutes.
There's a whole thing of like he's not supposed supposed to use it yet. He has to go through the training.
He has
you
to
know?
bond with it so it can,
But
he
didn't
can
he-
control it with his mind. Is that how it works?
The rising.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen to him. Yeah, I didn't fully understand.
Is it alive?
I
What
think
is
that
this
was
thing?
more of just like a
Metaphor?
metaphorical
Sure.
way to just
Mandafor.
like yeah
Hey.
to train with it and stuff so he can learn the
think he
true
figured it
uses
out.
of it.
Yeah, didn't he also train
Also,
with
it's
it
a
earlier?
jetpack.
Isn't that why she was like, didn't you do the Venus training or whatever the hell it was
Phoenix,
Oh.
called?
I think it was.
Phoenix, yeah,
Phoenix.
Rising Phoenix.
No, I thought he said no to that.
Oh, I thought he said
No, he
yes,
said it as a
and he was like,
child. He
Not
did
today.
it. And so
okay,
she's like,
okay.
all right, here's this thing. You know, remember, it won't listen to you at first. You got to start your trials when you have time.
Okay.
He's like, cool, I got this baby and this
And then he
fucking
just
robot over
threw it
here.
on his back and figured it out. Pretty
Well, it
quick.
turns out it did his keypad. Boop, boop, boop. You know?
He's like, oh, he's like, it doesn't listen to me. It listens to my Apple Watch.
Sweet Apple Watch. I love the scene of Giancarlo coming in and just being like, "Hey, motherfuckers, I know all of you.
Yeah.
You're from Alderaan.
Yeah.
You're fucking. I know your name, fucking Jin Partel or whatever."
And
the
I want to
hell.
be like, and Carl Weathers.
Apollo from Rocky. I liked this episode. I thought it was really fun, and it does make me sad that the rest of the episodes weren't like this. This had yes, it had some issues. The it could have used a lot more budget, but it was fun. I actually found myself liking the back and forth between the scout troopers.
that
they
was
were
so
awesome.
good.
I
they were
love
just
that in the
joking back and
beginning,
forth,
yeah.
and I was like,
Jason
"Oh, that's."
Sudeikis.
I'm like, "That's what this show could
Jason
have been." It
Sudeikis
could have
and
been.
Adam Polly,
Don't know who that is.
the guy from the Mindy Project.
I figured it was two
okay.
people that were supposed to know. Would have been great if they took their helmets off. Doesn't matter. That was fine. Went on a little long, but I'm like, okay, this
48
is
minutes
This is
runtime.
plucky, and this is what this show could have been. It's similar to like the Bill Burr episode where you were like, okay, this is a cool, fun, like different vibe. I think the show overall kind of suffers from that tone problem where like it doesn't really know what it wanted to be.
Because this was
And I
way
think
funnier than the other
This
ones.
was way funnier, and it was also way a little bit more intense than some of the other ones as well because of Giancarlo Esposito, because he's such a fucking good actor
So
and
good.
so good. Like he elevates the material, unlike I think most of the other actors in this that just kind of played to it. I think when you watching him, I'm like, I want to know. I want a whole series about this guy.
Like,
I want
I-
to know what he is, who he is, how he has a rise to power, what his ultimate motivations are with this thing. And I was like, well, I guess by the end of this episode, we'll get all those things. And we didn't get.
But
any of
we
it.
do get him alive still. So
with like an off-brand lightsaber.
I don't have a
No,
lightsaber,
so, like,
but
there's-
I have a
Get us,
laser
Barrett.
saber.
well, there's a whole
All
backstory.
right, so the Darksaber, this isn't the first appearance. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's a cool new lightsaber." It's like, no, it's not a new lightsaber. We've seen it before.
Hold on real quick. Sorry. The sirens are on our end. For the nerd alert! Well, in issue 174, the laser sword comes out.
I'm going to tell you this. You know what this
That's
reminds me of? When you're like, should I get the name brand printer or the Amazon Essentials
But
printer?
let him finish telling us about this
You know what I mean?
incredibly cool saber.
Beep boop boop, I'm a robot. I made a black lightsaber that's not a lightsaber.
All right, go watch your fucking
Yeah, no, no,
Zack
no, I
Snyder
wanna know, I
DC
wanna know,
movies,
I
you
wanna know,
fucking
I wanna
nerd.
know.
What is it?
So it's the
Greg, shut up.
legend says that the first Mandalorian Jedi, that lightsaber was made for that Jedi, and then once that Jedi died, the Jedi kept that lightsaber kind of in memoriam and stuff, and then the Mandalorian stole that saber to kind of bring like Mandalorian people together, and so it's been passed down in generations, and we've seen it in, I believe, both Clone Wars and Rebels.
Did Darth Maul ever hold it?
Darth Maul did hold it
he
at one
did.
point.
Did Grievous ever hold it?
No.
I do believe like it was lost for a while, and I do believe Darth Maul was the one who found it, I think, at one point. And then, some more Mandalorian characters got it back. And so the implication of Giancarlo Esposito's character having this implies that some characters we have met before are dead. And I know that's probably easy. It was easy to assume that before this episode because they're talking about the Purge and like all these Mandalorians getting killed and stuff like that. But this was like confirmation that there is a certain character, not the character everybody thinks of, but there is a certain character that we last saw with the Darksaber who
Bo-Katan?
Bo-Katan is the last person that we see in Rebels have it.
Raton, Florida?
That's what I was thinking too.
Isn't that where the Golden Girls live?
You're telling me there's not
Betty
another
White
condo
with
at
the
all
fucking
until Boca
Darksaber?
Vista.
And then fun fact about Bo-Katan, she's the younger sister of oh damn it,
Ray Katan.
no
Kyle Katarn.
Phil Katana
No,
from Saskatchewan.
Sabine, or no, not Sabine. I forget her.
Satine?
Satine.
From Moulin Rouge?
No, Satine, who is like kind of the Duchess of the Mandalorian, and she was like the one person that Obi-Wan Kenobi ever fell in love with.
Aw.
Yeah.
Aw.
Do we get that? You think in the
Rey
Obi-Wan
his
show?
daughter?
No, that they already told that story. It's in a show called Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and you should keep watching it, Greg.
I need to start first, but yes, I do. I'm still want to.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that he had it. I thought the effect was utterly terrible, and like I
Yeah, I
couldn't.
didn't-
I
I
was like,
thought it was
is that a lightsaber or is it just a?
It's-
I thought it was
Well,
one of those
it's-
shock batons. That
It's
they
because
had
it
to
looks
use.
weird.
Yeah.
Like I think that like it didn't look terrible.
It has a razor's edge.
That's a
look.
hard
No,
thing to
it
say.
cutting through the thing
It
looked
looked
terrible.
how it's supposed to look. It looks weird.
Yeah, seeing
like
it-
even when you see it in
So
Clone
cool.
Wars and Rebels and stuff, it's
No,
like
I think it looks cool
bizarre
in Clone Wars. I think it looks cool animated. Seeing it translated to live action was like really off-putting.
Can I get a still frame? Can you Google it in the Google and put it up for me of Clone Wars?
Of Clone Wars, okay, cool.
I just want to see what it looks like in Clone Wars.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really. This was one of those episodes you watch and you're like, this. If this was like episode 3, I'd have been like, this is a really interesting, cool show that they're doing. But I still wanted, like, we're left with so many questions at
Yeah.
the end of this, and I'm like, oh, of course.
this.
he's
This
alive.
to
So
me
for number
feels
2.
like episode 4 of a Game of Thrones season, like where Daenerys like finally like uses her dragons, and you're like, oh shit, we still have 6 episodes to fill out what is gonna happen next.
Yeah, exactly.
But like that's the thing is, I think with Disney Plus is we're gonna get that, and I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be sooner than normal seasons would normally work.
My
with
hope
a
is that
show.
they go, cool, we've got a good foundation. Now let's come out with 8 really solid episodes. Okay, 6 solid episodes, 2 filler episodes. I'd be fine with that.
I think they will.
I don't want
This
any
made
filler
me-
episodes.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have filler episodes,
that sucks.
but this made me want more of whatever the main story is going to be in this show. And I have a feeling that I'm like, I hope to God they know where they're going with this Baby Yoda character, because I would have liked to have been a little bit farther along at this
I was
point.
so hoping she was about to make him a helmet.
dude. Well, that's my thing.
When she
I
started
feel like
working,
really
I was like, are you going to get Baby Yoda a helmet right
He's
now?
now a Mandalorian. Like he's in.
Unless
the,
he finds his people.
They're in the crew together, man. They got a bond together, and Baby Yoda has the little Mandalorian necklace.
And he's
get
got
him
his-
a fucking helmet and get him a jetpack.
He got his little signet, which was really cool. And like Kevin had, we were talking about this like a month ago, but you were predicting like, what if his signet is Baby Yoda? And for a second, when she was working on it, it was like,
I know, it was
motherfucker,
like,
y'all
come
gonna-
That's what I thought it was going to be with like
Yeah.
the little ears.
But no, it was the rhino they killed
Yeah.
because they killed it together, and they're a clan now.
They're a clan of 2.
So cute.
Yeah.
Is that what she said? You're a
Yeah.
clan of 2. If I was Carl Weathers, I'd be like, hey,
It's like, you
I'm
didn't
here.
do shit.
We don't trust
You
you
just
yet,
fuck
Carl.
things up a bunch of
Dude,
times.
and I, like,
Dude, Carlos,
if,
like, hey.
I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, Google the Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing where Dan DeVito comes out and he's like, so I just started blasting. That's how Carl Weathers shoots the entire episode. Like, all right, Carl Weathers.
Yo, you know what I didn't expect? A fucking astromech droid to stand up.
that was awesome.
That was ridiculous.
Half battle droid, half
2 little arms on the side. Like, why does he even have those?
I thought that was kind of cool. I was like,
I
love that.
liked
That's
that.
good.
That was
Yeah.
a cool design. Also, the way the neck kind of like went up.
Yeah.
I thought was like those little changes made it like, oh, this is a different type of.
That looks
droid.
like a toy that I wanted to have
Yeah.
growing up, where it's just like, what the fuck? Cool.
I liked
the Robo
IG's.
guy.
I liked IG's sacrifice.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that whole thing and like arguing about directives and stuff to put it where it needed to be.
It's a weird thing of the IG Mandalorian moment of the helmet being taken off.
Yeah.
Where it's like
I thought that was
it got
unfortunately
It was
played
stupid.
so just like it's happening. Where it's like cool, and I'm half okay with it. Where I'm like, I don't need a giant reveal because
I expected more though. I expected a Scar or
It was just
a
weird.
different
It just- it
person.
felt
'cause
flat.
who
He was all
knows?
sweaty and bloody. He's like, oh,
I have
This thing's
long hair. All
uncomfortable.
right, cool.
I was disappointed with that just because the last time we hadn't seen a character's face for a really long time, and then someone took their helmet off was Vader, right? And like that was an unbelievable reveal of like you take this helmet off and it's this old man,
Crusty old
with
white
this
guy.
fucked up face, and that's all Vader has been this entire time. It's so cool. And so like this, I'm like, if they're gonna take his helmet off, it needs to be a really really cool moment, and it was okay. But I just didn't feel like he had enough of a relationship with
Yeah.
this IG droid, so that like that should have been like someone he loves, like the woman from the other planet
I
had come
think
back,
that's-
and as she was
but
dying,
that's
he was
still to
like, "I'm
come.
gonna take
but
this thing."
I also think that like part of it was
Right,
like
that's still
I
to
don't
come, maybe, but it didn't. It wasn't this, and we're talking
Yeah.
about this moment, which was just like
It was flat because
kinda
this wasn't
petty.
even shot well. I didn't think because it was very much. I think if you would have done like the and had his hand come down and then we got a shot from behind, right, of it coming
See,
off. and
I would have
stuff.
hated that. I
would've been
just
too
think the whole
much.
setup of this was just weird, and like they played it off and like this isn't the moment of him taking it off. It doesn't matter if he takes it off as long as humans don't see him. A droid saw him. Like this moment was less about him taking his helmet off and more about him being okay with droids.
Yep, that's what I was about to
Which
say.
is like,
it's like
and in that sense, I'm like, all right, but
I liked it.
you didn't need to take his helmet off
Yeah.
then. Like he could have just trusted the droid. They could have like rode around that in a different way.
sure they could have just stuck the little thing.
Because the
in
fact that we already saw him
and
with his helmet off like a couple episodes ago, It's
I'll
just
take
like,
it off in
it
front of
only
any
matters if
living
it's in
person.
front of a human.
Only in
yeah.
front of this giant windows, I eat my rice and watch the children.
I still think it was an interesting choice for them to kind of commit to that, and we'll see what they do with it in season 2. But I'm like, it's like seeing Pedro Pascal's face. I'm like, I just wish that they had figured out some reason for him to be able to take his helmet off with his clan and be able to have these people act toward each other, because it'd be cool to have him actually, like, I don't know, seeing Carl Weathers. I don't know.
I think it would have been stronger. I don't know how the moment would have worked, but because they're in a clan together, I think it would have been a cool moment to have that with Baby Yoda, actually, because they have this relationship and he's this father figure, and he's looking at Baby Yoda as like the part of his clan, a child. I think that would have been a stronger moment. I agree. Like the moment felt more towards like his whole like deal with droids, which I felt like was just a weird decision to combine those two things. And then with the IG-11 sacrifice, I liked it, but the music was way too fucking melodramatic. Where I was like, you're making me.
He's walking through fucking lava.
But that's the thing,
to
like,
kill himself.
we really only been with this character for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And so when he sacrificed himself, I'd be like, yeah, go for it. I don't fucking care. Who the fuck are you?
Like, I only care about
I haven't. If I was a Mandalorian, like, I hadn't liked you yet, and this is the first thing you've done that's really made me think, oh, maybe I can come around with droids. Also, why does he not like droids?
They
Like,
killed his family. They killed his
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing.
Right.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, the only reason I cared about IG-11 was because he was voiced by Taika Waititi, but you know.
I think
can't
it's
even
fine.
tell, though.
I think I like seeing that droid like do stuff. It's cool. I like when he hops on the speeder. I'm like, okay.
With Baby
Yeah.
Yoda and spin it around.
Oh my god.
It seems like if you were supposed to protect something though, like actually driving him into a fucking war zone would
He
be
knows
the
what he's
worst possible
doing,
thing.
dude.
Maybe the ship that you were right next to, you just get on that and go. That would have been the way to protect
His
him. But
highest
whatever.
likelihood of success is to make sure that the Mandalorian survives.
Yeah, because
You've already seen the shit.
when he
man.
finds a Mandalorian,
Great-
he's bloody and dead.
great
and he's like,
choices
oh, I
with
made a
this baby.
terrible choice here.
I
Let's
wish
take it back to the
at that
ship.
moment when they're all kind of like, I guess we'll leave you, Baby Yoda had like started lifting his helmet, and that's where we get the like, no, don't. And then Baby Yoda like kind of touches him, and, like gets the okay, and lifts it off, and that's where they spray him.
I can see us having
Yeah.
that later.
Yeah,
I like the way they took Baby Yoda off the playing field when the Inferno droid or Stormtrooper came in, right? Because it was like, oh, you're gonna die. It's like, we already know the fucking thing can heal you. What's the
Baby,
problem?
use the magic hands.
He just waves at him. Oh my god, it's so good.
Dude, Baby Yoda with the fucking fire. And then just knocking out. I will watch Baby Yoda exert himself for hours.
Yeah, I could do a whole show about that. It's just like not even a show, just 3 minutes clips on YouTube, just him. And the coffee comes to me, and then he falls down.
So great.
I also love that they added a lot more baby noises in this.
Yeah, the
Which
cooing
I was
man.
like,
It's
Yeah, they
alright.
sound so
up there.
fake though.
All right. Well, of course, it's not. It's coming
sounds
from fucking.
fake.
Why couldn't they find a real baby
Muppet,
Yoda?
dude.
Why couldn't they find a real Baby Yoda to record? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly. Go out in the wild, find one.
Anybody else?
When,
Anybody else hoping for a time jump there at the end? When I was hoping that it might go off and then we would get like Mandalorian walking up or whatever, and then Baby Yoda in the fucking helmet. But he's no longer a baby now; he's just a Yoda.
He's
you know?
he's Teen Yoda, like Teen Groot.
Teen Yoda.
I don't think
I
they're
hope
going to put
not.
him in a helmet. I don't think that's ever going to happen. That would be a terrible use of that character. Because if that character then has to wear a helmet,
I mean, I don't think we're
it's
gonna-
the cutest thing on the planet. You put a helmet on, it's the stupidest fucking thing you can possibly do.
I mean, we'll
You already
never get
took-
there.
You already took the sexiest man on the fucking planet, put a helmet on him. For
It would
8
have to be a
episodes.
flash forward because he's what 50 years old. He's still a baby.
Yeah.
Like Mandalorian's gonna be
Yeah.
dead in 50 years, and you know what I mean. It's got to be a way flash forward.
We don't know how long Mandalorians live.
He's just a person. He's just an alien like
Yeah,
us.
they
man.
could live,
Mandalorian's
like,
not a
200
bloodline;
years.
it's a creed.
First off,
We
he got
learned that in
blown
this.
up in
too,
helmet. And
great
he started
movie.
bleeding his helmet, right? And he's gonna die from it. So he's dead.
I thought they were going to kill him, and I was like,
Mandalorian?
I was
that'd
like,
be really
that would be
cool, yeah.
awesome. That would be awesome if they were just like, he was like, you got to carry this forward, and like one of the other characters just, and that was it. And that was it. He's
Just
dead.
sitting there with a
But
thermal
I-
detonator.
I'm happy
Like-
they didn't do that.
But
Yeah, no, I
instead,
am
they just
too.
sprayed some shit on his head. He's like,
the
and in
box
one
of spray.
scene, he was
I
like,
can walk
I'm
now.
good. I was
Yeah.
on death's door 5 seconds ago. Thank God he had some fucking Neosporin that he just put on my wound. I'm good now.
Yeah.
But someone strap a fucking
Time to
Home
talk about our
Depot.
sponsor, Neosporin.
Someone strap a Home Depot flashlight to my helmet so I can get out of this
Dude,
cave.
what the fuck?
Stupid. Why do they do that?
That was so bizarre. Where
I
it was
don't
just
think we've
like,
ever
I thought for
seen-
sure it was gonna be the droid.
Yeah.
With all his different lenses and shit that he would have one.
No, it's
You would think that, yeah. But it's funny because like
I-
I don't know that we've ever seen like that level of flashlight in Star Wars before.
That
We've seen it like
level of
5 times
flashlight.
here because they're like because like the stormtroopers came in I think in episode 2
Mm-hmm.
or episode 3 with flashlights on their blasters, and I don't think we've ever seen it. It's such a weird.
Poe had a flashlight.
Did Poe have a flashlight?
in it
Yeah,
for months.
remember?
What-
Yeah.
He
She
turns
pulls
it
out her
on. She
saber.
pulls out her saber, and it is like barely glowing.
When they're in the tunnels.
Oh, that was cute. Okay, that was
Yeah.
fun for her. But that wasn't like This was done for like they needed to actually like show some stuff.
Needed to see some shit.
And then it's just one of those things where I'm like, do they not have fucking night vision goggles in these? Like,
No,
what are the point
he
of these helmets?
does. He has
He has
thermal
thermal.
goggles.
Then why does he
zoom
need the
in?
thing?
Why did he use the scope in the first
know.
episode or second episode?
my favorite moment.
Yeah,
Nick made fun of.
Where he's like, he went like this. He went. I think that's where my eye is. What is it, John? Is that where my eye is? John's just sitting there. Famro's just sitting there.
I
having
wonder.
craft service.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, he probably got an upgrade when he got the Vesper arm, the metal.
Vesper.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were like,
good
"No
point.
more scope needed." He's like, "Oh, fucking
shit.
finally!"
Thank God.
Because I don't know where the fuck to put this thing.
What do we think about all the jetpack Mandalorians when we got the flashback to him being
being all
saved?
dead.
No, when they got the flashback.
Oh,
yeah,
Ooh.
him as a
Yeah.
kid, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It just leaves a little bit more to me of just like I don't know. There's so much kind of questions that were asked, and the ones that they answered aren't the ones I wanted answered most. But like, I'm okay with that overall, with what the show is and knowing we're getting more. But like, there was the bounty hunter or whatever, somebody. And the Tatooine.
Oh,
episode.
yeah. The
And it was
foot.
like,
Right.
we're kind of expecting something on that.
Yeah, I
Or we're
thought-
kind of expecting Boba Fett. I'm happy it wasn't Boba Fett.
Yeah.
When like it was all seen, you're like, oh, it's a blue.
I
it's a
expected
blue
that to be-
Mandalorian.
I
There's many
expected-
blue Mandalorians.
I expected that to be like the very last scene of like revealing
Yeah, me too.
whoever that tease was. Was it just Carl Weathers? Who had the spurs on like their boot? Was there any character who had that?
No idea.
Huh.
Maybe some just dude finding a dead body.
Maybe it's a guy walking around, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I didn't like was that, like, why did all the other Mandalorians die? Like, there wasn't their plan to leave. Remember,
I think their
in
plan
the
was just
tunnels?
they
They were like,
leave.
"Oh, we know, we've given ourselves up. We're gonna have to disperse." Wasn't that how that ended?
That was my understanding
Yeah.
of it. They were like, hey, when we had War Machine, it was
Yeah.
like Captain America, good to
Yeah.
see. And he flew out. I thought they were all going
Yeah.
to the next planet where they
Right.
were going to rebuild in the next sewer system in order.
And
pizza.
instead, we just get this giant pile of helmets, and it's like,
And then,
"Oh, that sucks."
But then we get the woman who's like the leader of the clan,
The
who's like, "This is
armor.
my plate," and you're like, "What? Get
What's
the
your
fuck
plan?
out of here!"
Just put him on a ship.
She's like, "I got to
Cap
melt
using
down all
that
this
shit.
armor," and you're like, "But
You
it's
don't
not,
understand
it's not even
tradition.
the steel that we like.
But we did.
Their
did
way
get
is
that-
this.
Why is their way is dumb? Their way is dumb.
It's a dumb way.
I will say this: like, the more they build the lore out of this, the more I'm like, why? Why do you have all these stupid decisions that your clan makes? Why
That's
can't
religion,
you,
man.
Why can't you take your helmet off around each other? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
Especially with the lore that they've introduced before the show. It's weird. Really quick, someone from the chat, Faint Aphid, said young Mando was saved by Death Watch. Also, nerd shit that I need to
Thank you.
go back and confirm and stuff because I didn't get the vibe that they're Death Watch is like these like hardcore, like they don't fuck with anybody. They're all about like murking people like whenever they come through.
They're
but-
an offshoot, right? So
Yeah.
Mandalorians at one point were like, "Well, we're not crazy about killing, and we'll take off
Yeah,
armor."
they're- yeah.
And Death Watch was like, "Fuck this."
Yeah. So I need to go back and watch that confirmed. Like the symbols on their suits are actually like Death
You
Watch.
probably
symbols.
just Google Death Watch right
Yeah.
now.
Well, I don't remember what the symbols.
Mandalorian.
I don't remember what the symbols on their armor in the episode were.
They had like white stripes here.
Yeah.
Because that's what when Jen was like, "Is that Boba Fett?" I'm like, "No,
No.
I don't know much about the
say
Fett
yes.
man," but I
You're
was
like,
like,
"Yep, that's
Yeah,
him."
that's Mr. Fett.
What about that other one? That's him
Yeah,
also.
him too.
He has
They're
a
all
power
Boba
where
Fett.
he can separate
They're all
himself out.
clones, dude.
It's weird. I had a weird reaction to that scene because I was like, "This is it is what it is." We've been building up to this for 15 flashbacks into this. We were supposed to be impactful, but like we've already seen this a bunch of times. And then we see all the Mandalorians, and I'm like, the more we see that armor, it's having an adverse effect on me. Where I'm like, it's not as it's lessening the cool factor of the Boba Fett armor for me. So if you see like 50 different variations of it, I'm like, I want to see that. I think they made a smart choice by killing off the clan. Because I think that now it puts him, and he's the only one, and
He's the
we
main
can
one.
be with him, and it's a little bit more unique and special. Where like when Boba Fett was in Empire Strikes Back, you're like, the reason why that character is so storied and why everyone loves him is because the fucking armor's cool. He was a cool character, and we didn't see that much of him. And the more we see of that, it kind of like, I don't want to. I don't know. It ruins the specialness of it. That's why I'm glad they killed everyone off. I just don't love the fact that the armor was just like, I'm gonna stay here and beat some people to death with fucking.
Her fight scene was cool though.
Her fight
Dude,
scene
she
was cool.
shattered someone's
That was
helmet.
awesome.
That was
Dude,
awesome.
that was the thing.
Also,
yeah.
did she burn someone alive?
Yes.
Because it looks like he went into the kill.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
what happened.
No,
Whoa!
that shit was awesome. And also, what's her name? The fighter, the
Gia Carano.
Gia Carano. It's like she's still as bad as she's always been, but I like
Bad as
that
she
they-
wants to be.
They like, I feel, use her wiser and wiser in terms of like whenever she's doing action shit, it's fucking awesome. Like she sells that shit so well. It's just don't make her talk that much. But I feel like they understand it to a degree. I feel like the first episode they gave her way too much to say, but the last couple ones she's in, it's like
I like the team. Like I'm responding very positively to him as the leader of this. Carl Weathers is the what did they say? He was some sort of disgraced dignitary or something like that. That he's like, I don't know. I want to know more about that. I think it works. I'm sad that they killed off IG-11 because I thought, oh, this is going to be the gang. Cool. Like this is it's a Western.
Yeah.
The lone gunmen just put the gang together and they came in and they're going to do this thing and now they're going to go protect this little baby together and take him to Yoda Land or wherever the fuck he's from.
Yeah, I was bummed that they kind of like parted ways.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
I think it's a poor choice. I think
they'll be back, dude. If this show has taught us anything, it's that whenever something happens, it's gonna get fixed immediately. Baby Yoda, taken at the end of the last episode. Holy shit! How is he gonna get him back? Oh, he's literally just gonna be giving it back.
Or we're not gonna see him.
That was
not
a
even
dope.
gonna- not
Come on
even
now.
gonna, like-
When IG shows up and gets him back, though,
yeah.
that
No,
was
it's
awesome.
dope. It's really fucking
but
dope.
Tim's right. It needed like that's the biggest problem with the series as a whole is that the story beats are just completely too fast. They're off. They need a lot more meat on the bones of this stuff. Like they're stuck in this thing, and also they just get out. Right? That should have been.
I feel like the filler episodes that's where they're like the biggest weakness they have, where it's like in those episodes, had they spread out, like had he been taken like 2 episodes earlier and now there was like a search for him, that could have been also the filler episodes, like that would have been so much better, keeping us interested in the story and keep it moving forward. It's fine that they don't want to give us a ton of information, but like I feel like they just needed to space the big things out a little bit more to kind of keep us like excited, because like we had 3 episodes where it was like
Yeah, but also it's like it's an interesting. I liked the stormtroopers talking back and forth. I was like, okay, I'm into the scene. Obviously, I don't.
Shooting and missing.
It was kind of fun, right?
But like that's also really stupid.
But it's
like, why
so.
couldn't they have the damn thing?
But but that even that itself is filler.
Yeah.
Where you're like, this is a funny scene, but if this were a movie, this would have absolutely been cut out of this because it gives the audience enough time to be like, why the fuck aren't they taking this thing back to Giancarlo
Just keep
Esposito?
hitting Baby Yoda.
Oh,
It's
that
like,
was
you
pissing me off.
motherfucker, get your hands off of him.
I feel like they did a decent job explaining why they weren't just
did
taking
not.
people.
They did not
Yeah,
do a
with
decent
the like,
job.
no, we're gonna wait here.
No, we're in a
'cause
war
this
zone
dude-
right now. Oh, Giancarlo Esposito, the guy that just killed 15 of your friends, to get this thing, you don't want me to bring this to you immediately? Cool, I'll just stay here. No, fucking A. That's like the dumbest things possible. And I get they needed an excuse for the 2 fun actors to talk to each other, but that is just, it's not good storytelling. Like, that doesn't make, like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, at some point someone's going to radio and be like, why the fuck did you not bring me this thing? This guy that is just a murderer, and you didn't, I don't know.
I did think it
They
was
had
silly that he
protocols
was.
to follow, man.
I loved it because it showed it was just a glimpse into. They had protocols to follow. It was just a glimpse into the absurdity of Star Wars,
Yeah.
and acknowledging that's how absurd their universe is. Is the fact that you would sit there and they can't shoot. Why wouldn't you go do that? Because you always have those questions when you watch the movies. Why are the stormtroopers so dumb? And it goes up the chain of command where they're being radioed back. Don't come. He's shooting people, and why would you work for this guy? Like he's shooting people. All right, we'll wait.
I don't know. To me, that's just like that's pulling the curtain aside a little bit too much, and realizing that like a lot of those elements, like when they go by in the movies, you're like, okay, I can forgive that because the people that I love, the characters that I love, are doing cool shit. So yeah, the fact that the stormtroopers can't shoot, whatever, it's fine because the main characters have to get to the next thing. But when we just sit in a scene for 20 minutes where they can't shoot a can, it really does start to like, what is the meta commentary here that you're watching a bad show? Is that what the commentary is?
Waititi. To me, it's just
Yeah, that was
it's a
Taika
fear of
Waititi
commitment
fun.
to tone. That is the biggest problem of this show. Is that there's so many great things that if they committed to one single like tunnel vision thing, it would have been
If
so
the
much stronger.
whole show had been plucky like this and it had been a meta commentary and all this stuff, that would have been cool. But that's at odds with the hardcore Western tone they were trying to establish for the first 4 episodes.
Totally.
And like, I don't know. I think that sometimes, when you have a group of directors that come in and can do like stuff like this, it works best in an anthology. It does not work best necessarily. Like Game of Thrones, it worked because they were all basically following a main script and had to adhere to each other's styles. And so when you brought it, and they weren't brought in for that level of like, you're going to bring your vision to this and your specific tone. They were like, you're going to direct 3 episodes out of this because we have to, because you're going to be in fucking Iceland while someone else is in somewhere, fucking Phoenix, whatever the hell they
Phoenix,
the Dorne
Arizona.
shit. They did the Dorne
That
stuff.
was probably Dorne. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like in this, it would have worked cool if they were all one-off Star Wars stories. But I just feel like there's
I agree with that.
It didn't mix very well.
I feel like that's the same clash you're seeing right now with the end of the new trilogy, right? Where it's the fact that there's
100%
competing
yeah.
visions and there wasn't what's the thread here we're all trying to do.
Well, it was the thread.
Although
with this
I
one.
would say they probably did this better in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They did with
Agreed.
The newest
Million
trilogy, because at least they were in the room being like, okay, well, we'll just use the same characters. How about that? Like Gina Carano's character, when she was in the last one, she's not going to accidentally get written out of this one really quickly.
And like we have like an actual story plan throughout the entire thing. Whereas, the new trilogy.
I mean, the story wasn't, in Mandalorian, it was pretty simple, but at least it kind of had somewhat of a beginning, middle, and an end.
There was some cohesion.
The way this one ended, I'm like, I can't wait for season 2. And
Me
like,
too.
really, that is a good sign because I feel like maybe halfway through this season, I was like, I don't know how stoked I'm going to be at the end of this. I'm really stoked. Like, didn't expect them to do the Darksaber route. That's something that is on some nerd shit that I'm not completely familiar with.
Yeah.
But it makes me want to watch Clone Wars even more.
It's a cool element. It's
Yeah.
a cool element, and so I'm with you on the same boat, right? I wouldn't say that I can't wait for season 2. When season 2 comes, I'll be happy that it's here and I'll watch it. But in between now and then, I will not think of The Mandalorian again, probably. But if season 2 can pick up, if my hope is that Disney Plus was like, we allotted a little bit of budget for this, and now that we've got subscribers, we've got a lot more budget. We're going to give.
But it wasn't
the team
a little bit of budget.
full
Right?
on-
It was
I'm hoping they try. I hope they triple the budget.
15 million
And I'm
per
hoping that they
episode
sit
or
down and
something?
go, we're going to now kick off, and we're going to have a lot more story in this thing. Because when you talk about the story of what's happened in 8 episodes, it is way too simple. He finds the thing, he doesn't want to give the thing back, and then he rescues the thing. That's it. We have no idea what this thing is. We have no idea why the
now
Empire
the thing
wants
has a
it.
necklace.
And now the thing has a necklace.
Hell
and,
yeah.
and such is his way.
Such is his way. Ladies and
feel-
gentlemen, what's up,
I
Kevin?
was just gonna say really quick for me in second season, like I'm interested in it. I'm not like excited for it to come out week to week, just because I feel like this season is shown week to week for this show is like, man, I really wish we could have binged this all, but
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Read
still
the
disagree.
thing first, and we'll get to the.
There's no thing.
Oh, there's no thing?
No.
Oh,
It's
I
not.
thought there was a thing. It's interesting because, again, to that point, if last week's episode and this week's episode had been watchable together, it would have, I think, made for a good episode, a full good episode, where it would have had a beginning, a middle, and an end that I thought would have been probably like fulfilling. But because it was broken up and because we started, and I'm like, oh right, I took a break for a week, and the IGA saved the thing. Okay, we're back into it.
I
think
did
it
feel
would-
like starting this one. Granted, it was what, a week and a half instead of just a week. When we started it, and I was watching the recap with Jen. I was like, it feels like a year since I watched this.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, cool, I'm back in the moment. Yeah, but
It would be interesting. Like I think you did yourself a service by going back and watching all of them leading up
And
to
it was
this.
great. And they're also so bite-sized that that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I still stand by I like the week-to-week, and I think that it makes me more interested in the world that they're building and like thinking about it constantly and being excited for the next one. And when one comes out that's a dud, it hurts more. Like that's just part of it.
Yeah.
Whereas you can just kind of like move on to the next if it was binge.
If they're going to do week to week, they need to take a break and watch Watchmen, and then come back and be
Yeah.
like, "This is how you do week to week."
Yeah.
Because
And I think they
Watchmen
will.
developed so many good story beats and gave you exactly what you needed. Where they would come, and some of them they tell you what's going on, and then they'd set up other stuff, and it built toward an unbelievable climax toward the end. There, that's how you have to do it. These are a little too bite size, where you get to the end, and you're like, "I'm still hungry." It's like last night when I got home, and I was like, "I shouldn't order Taco Bell and watch Die Hard again," but I did anyway. But I was like, "I'm going to exercise restraint and not get the crunchy taco. I'm only going to get 3 items, not 4." And guess fucking what, Kevin?
You wanted
I
that
got to the
fourth
end of it, and
item?
I was like, "Motherfucker! I should have gotten that goddamn crunchy taco." Thankfully, my sister-in-law made sugar cookies that are in there. I ate like 5 of them. But all I'm saying is they need to have a little more meat on the bone, and they need to take a little bit more story.
don't you
infuse
feel
a
like
little more story?
the criticism we've seen over and over again, not only on this show but other people talking about it, is this, right? That it was it's a filler episode. It's this, that, the other. What was the vision? I would think that coming around for next season, that
They'll
they
hear
would
that?
respond to that. Yeah,
I
if
hope
John
so,
Favreau
yeah.
stays on as showrunner, right, and like you figure it out and you tighten it up and you make it more. I mean, it's the same thing as always. I wish it had been bingeable. I think it would have been. I think it would have helped everyone not have a better go through of this. But I mean, we were talking about it today, right? And we'll talk about it when we come back. But comparing this to The Witcher, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure a couple of The Witcher episodes were slower or maybe more. I don't remember them. I just fucking had a great time and I finished it in a 24-hour period. And I was like, give me fucking more Witcher.
I feel like The Witcher totally couldn't have been a week to week show, and like it would have gotten me way more engaged than I was
Yeah.
for this show.
Was he? Does he get shirtless a lot in The Witcher?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I saw the preview for it. I was like, I don't know about this.
I
But then I read
really
an article
disagree.
that said the costume designer was complaining because his muscles were wearing out the
they rub-
costume.
they rubbed through
and
the
I was
leather.
like, okay. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the final episode for this season of Mandalorian in Review. Thank you very much for joining us. Like I said, we will return January 3rd, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. for our 12-hour Kind of Funny Day live stream. Kind of Funny Games 4.0. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Until next time, Andy sucks.
Yeah, he does.